Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Truly Bedrock Season 5. We're back. Back for Episode 9? Yes, Episode 9. And we're over here at the Hides and Tides Beef Shack because a little birdie, that birdie being me, actually went and checked my shop to see that we have sold a few things, right? We've got some extra stock of beef, but I did make 4 diamonds profit there, which we can easily restock this bad boy. And I noticed that this is completely gone. So in total, we made 21 diamonds profit, and we're out of leather at the shop, so it is time for us to restock this. I've got a bunch of excess stuff over at the basin, and it's been a while. It's been a while since we checked this place out, so hopefully this will be enough, and I can throw the excess 2 stacks probably over here in the barrel. Sure, that works. The other reason I'm over here is I'm out of shulker boxes. I bought, I think, a stack of shells from up there, and I have completely run out. So I'm going to fly up there and take a look at potentially buying some more. What is this? I've seen this. This is Groova. I was wrong on whose ship that was, but this is Groova. 1 diamond as stacked. Okay. Not bad, not bad. Thought that these were like 16? I don't know. Oh. Sold out. Lichas are 9 diamonds, and the shulker boxes themselves are 2. So... oh, that's a real one. Oh. Yeah, we're just gonna duck down here. So I can get 3 shulker boxes essentially for a diamond. Yep, let's do that. Eventually, we're gonna need to get our ender chest set up. So I did buy a couple stacks in a bit. I can make a stack of shulker shells. That should get me for a very long time. But I did want to come over here and see. Ah, I do. I do have some cobbled deep slate over here. And blackstone. Yep. I knew I had some excess materials and things over here on the raft. So I want to take these over to the base because we're going to be building today. I want to get started on a project. So there's a few things that we need to do. The first thing is I probably need to go to the nether. And we're going to need to get ourselves some glowstone. Because I don't have any in here. No. Yep, we're going to need to go to the nether. We're going to need to get our hands on some glowstone. We're going to need to grab some more redstone. So I'm going to actually have to go mining. And I think we're going to start doing the centerpiece of the base today. Well, we spent some time and we did some mining. And I've done a few other things, like adding a basalt generator into the spider farm. Sometimes I forget about blocks that I like to use. One of the blocks that I love to use is the polished basalt, and since the Nether update came out, I've wanted to use it. Season 3 of Truly Bedrock, we really figured a way to utilize this block and use it very well. Last season, I don't think we used it too much, but I do think we're going to throw it into the block palette. It's just something that I forgot. There's so many blocks. There's so many options in this game. It used to be pretty simple. I would build with nether brick and something else. And now it's become quite a bit more complicated. But I did spend some time down here, AFK, repairing my tools and then mining this in between all of that. So question, because I didn't do one in the last episode, is what is you guys' favorite block to build with? Obviously, mine is, well, nether brick. We all know that. And I want to know what yours is. But while you guys are answering that question in the comment, I did get a bunch of stuff whilst mining. We got ourselves a bunch more cobbled deep slate, as well as some tuff and some gravel. And then I did get quite a bit of stuff. Over 2 stacks of blocks of redstone. My goal was to get this right here. I thought that would keep me busy for a little while. We got some lapis, we got some gold, we got some iron, we got some diamonds, and I threw the slime balls in there just because. But back in here in the mine shaft, I did go that way, and we ran into a cave where I got a bunch of the ores that we utilized in the last episode. And so I went through that entire cave, and most of the things I have in this shulker box are from that. I did get everything smelted, and we're still looking pretty good on iron, looking decent on gold, and we have a bunch of lapis. Don't know if I'll ever use it, but we've got it. I did go through and craft up a bunch of redstone components, utilizing all of the redstone that I gathered, and I'm now down to a half a stack of blocks and 4 dust, but we have stacks of comparators, repeaters, torches, pistons, observers, droppers, and dispensers. We have our redstone lamps that we need. I have everything that I need, and this is the first official, box for the ender chest. And now what I think we're going to do is I need to spend a little bit of time figuring out exactly where I kind of want this clock tower, because the portal is actually going to move into it, and I think this is going to be the spot, right here somewhere. So, whilst I'm figuring out where exactly I want to lay this out, I'm going to show you guys the creation that we've come up with. Now, I went through a bit of YouTube trying to find an actual working clock tower. I don't want just a clock tower. I think having one that actually tells the time is going to be awesome. And what I ended up finding was something that works. It works well, and it resets with the day cycle. So as you can see, oh, it's going to call me a liar. Oh, you know what? What I did was I blocked off the daylight sensor that does the resetting of the items. Or the resetting of the cycle, rather. So hopefully, yep, that advances by 1. That's pretty good. The tutorial is by somebody named Jade, and I'm going to link it in the description. And if you don't see it, you know, hit that comment section saying, hey man, what did you do? But I wanted to build around this thing, and it looks like one little thing I forgot is obviously I cannot have this daylight sensor and the one that is right below here. I cannot have it blocked off by solid blocks. It needs sky access, meaning I'm going to have to do something like this with my roof, and that's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Anyway, when I was originally starting to think about this whole circuit here, I was thinking we could use daylight sensors, and I'm pretty sure that these have a different redstone strength depending on what time of day it is. So as it gets to be a higher time, like noon, this is going to have a longer signal. Right now we're all the way to here, and eventually this will start decaying as the time goes. The only problem is this doesn't work at night. We would have to throw down another daylight sensor and then shift right click it to turn it into like a lunar sensor and then run redstone off of that, and it would start to get pretty bulky and stuff like that. So why reinvent the wheel when sometimes you can find this? Basically, what we have is a piston feed tape with some redstone, a redstone block that goes around right there. We have a daylight sensor that is the reset circuit, which is that guy right there. Of course, we have a nighttime circuit as well that will power some of this redstone. And then we have an etho hopper clock here that has 126 items. That is a slight variation from the original tutorial. They have 125. I found that 126 is a little more reliable in time. We were a little forward, like high noon is here, right? And we would be clicking to 1 p.m. very, very soon. Of course, this thing isn't going to be 100% perfect. Minecraft days are 20 minutes. It's 10,000 ticks or whatever it is. You divide that by hopper ticks and how often it moves item every 8 ticks, I think. Oh. I did not mean to click that button. And eventually, you will get a pretty decently working clock. The best thing about this is the reset capabilities. This isn't just going to try to tick time and you'd have to leave, the daylight cycle going. We are going to have a lot of people sleeping and stuff on the server. This is going to lag behind a little bit because of me messing with it. So that is this little circuit. It is very small, and I am going to be putting in like redstone lamps on this side. The only bad thing about it is this is going to be a lit redstone lamp always. The backside is going to be probably pretty dead. If I were to build this a little bit wider, we could have made it, and no, I don't think any other lamps are going to be lit. No. Nope, just that one over there, which is fine. That's fine. Anyway, this is what this is going to look like. It does have this little redstone dust here, so I do need to keep that in mind when I'm building and filling this thing in. I think we're going to end up using something like that just to close it in. This way I can do that over here and it's not as big of a problem as it could be. And one thing I did add in that is different than the tutorial, of course, is when it hits high noon, the bell sounds. I thought that was pretty neat and nifty. Added that to the piston right there. And that is the redstone. Again, I'm not going to go detail step by step. If you want to see how to build this, go to the tutorial in the description. It's a very good, very quick tutorial, easy to follow along. The build that we have come up with is something I found on Reddit. I found a picture, and mine is a bit smaller, but this is what we are going to be dealing with. Yeah, signal's decaying already. And this is why I said basalt. Now, the other thing that I could try is maybe some dark oak. But I do love the basalt and the look of this clock tower. I think the polished basalt is going to be a lot better. And I'm very happy with the way this all fit. And what is a pretty curious thing. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look bad. I think the basalt looks better, but what is neat is I built this redstone circuit and then started messing around with the build after. I put this in the air first, and this all worked out. So I need to take a little bit of measurements. I need to start figuring out exactly where we're going to put this in, and let's get to building. Well, there should have been a nice little time lapse, hopefully, that shows off the building of the clock tower facade. We've got this thing set up. It looks pretty neat. I think it's kind of weird sitting on the middle of the island with nothing else around it, but eventually it will all make sense. Now what I need to do is I need to actually utilize the portal that we've made here and grab some coordinates for this point here, and then of course go into the nether and move it. And there we go. Nether portal moved. It wasn't too bad. It actually didn't move very far. So we put it right here, and the head to indicate instead of having the sign, I took the sign down, but the old portal was literally right here. Not that far. So, with the nether portal moved, the clock tower built, the next thing that we need to do is going to be the redstone portion of the build. So I need to get up in there, we need to get our redstone thinking cap on, and get this thing going. I think this is gonna be all right. Oh, this could be a disaster. Well, we got the redstone complete. Didn't take us too long to build this, especially with this complete. Building this in an open area like we did in creative was actually a lot harder. So, as you see, things are moving around, and this is working. I did change this out, so we didn't have one redstone lamp lit. And then one thing I added is this button right here. This is a manual button to move the hours around. Right now, it's saying it's about 1 o'clock, but I think there's something going on. I have been playing around with the items in the hopper. There are 24,000 ticks in a day cycle in Minecraft, and if you start doing some math out, 24,000 divided by 24 hours, that gives you 1,000 ticks an hour. If it takes 8 ticks for an item to move into a hopper, 1,000 divided by 8 is 125 items. That's how we came up with the number, or the original designer of this redstone came up with that number. But what I am learning is something's kind of fishy. Now, I did sit right here and just record this for hours. And then I went over my recorded footage, and like noon would not be here. And then midnight would be here. But the next day, if nobody slept, it was fine. Sometimes noon would be here, but then we couldn't get midnight to line up as well. It's very inconsistent, and I don't know if that's just issues on my end or people coming and going through the server, kind of throwing the ticks kind of weird. But as long as by like 6 o'clock the sun's going down, I think we've got it's fine. It's really fine. I do like it. I do like the moved nether portal. I do like being able to come up in here and check this all out. And I think what I might end up doing is getting rid of the scaffolding and putting like a ladder. And have some blackstone here that goes all the way up. Be a little bit better when you're looking into it from this way because you can see the scaffolding. As a matter of fact, yeah, I think that's going to work a lot better. You can come in here, and unfortunately we have to have that in the way, but we can come up here and do the whole ladder up thing. We might drag these pillars all the way up, but this does work, and it looks a lot nicer than what we had before. You kind of can't see in, and yeah, let's see here. Again, like I said, this is nice even when somebody else sleeps. This is going to rotate all the way back around. It is going to start at a 6 o'clock time. Perfect. And maybe some of the issues that we're having with this not 100% lining up is the roof that we have on here, but then again, the daylight sensor would not go back and forth resetting it, or the nighttime sensor rather. I'll dive further and further into this and see what I can come up with. I think it's just some server issues, but it is cool nonetheless to have a working clock tower and our very first like structure on the island. With that, we're out of time. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know the routine. Leave a like, leave a comment. Consider subscribing if you're new. Be sure to check the description down below for all the different ways to follow me, including links to Twitter, Twitch, Discord, Truly Bedrock Discord, Truly Bedrock website. There is a link to all the other Truly Bedrock members as well down below. Be sure to check them out. There's a link to the second channel, which is a live streaming channel, the third channel, which is some Pokemon challenges I do from time to time if you want more content, and there is also a link to Patreon if you feel like being a little more generous than just watching videos. Of course, not required, but greatly appreciated. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, well, awesome. Let me know in the comment section below. It's very early in the morning that I record some of this, so bear with me, but yes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.